Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Black Forest Duel between LKKKK, who's like rank 40 or 50 or something, and he's played 6th West German, and he's going up against DustinEchoes, who's about rank 100, and he's playing TKS. So let's quickly go through the decks and then we'll get back to it. Right, so this is Dustin's deck. He's playing TKS. TKS is good now. It's had a lot of buffs recently, so it's really quite good now. Um, it's still not like, top meta whatever, but it's not bad. In terms of the deck, some very interesting choices here. This is mine. If you want to just copy that, there you go. End of deck review. Now the thing is, right? You don't need all these tanks. There are just situations where this isn't going to help you, and having 4 cards of it is not going to help you. This is forward deployed. Okay, it's got mediocre stealth, so it's going to get blown up. This has good stealth, and it's cheaper, and you get more of them. And it's like, yeah, but what if I want forward deployed anti-Vic? Right. And then, probably too much arty. I think, honestly, the Toad ones are better than the self-propelled ones now. Anyway, could swap that out for a 105s maybe. So not really too much arty. CVs, that's a 3 per card, and it's like, yeah, these are probably alright now because of the Uzis and everything. Land 1s, Land 2s. I like it's like Pioneer Carl Gustav. It's actually really good now since the shock change. So you probably want one of those instead of 1 card of Heimat Jaeger. I don't see why you want 2 cards of everything. 5 CVs is a bit on the low side, right? This is your Appelas Hilo guys. Okay, you don't need 2 cards of that. So you can bring an MG3 team, or you can bring some more CVs, right? Yeah, it's back to this. You really don't need all these. This is like a defensive tool, really. It's not very good on the offense. I mean, I've seen how Dustin plays. He just buys a bunch of units and throws them forwards over and over again, so maybe in that case, having these makes sense. But in most cases, it's like, well, 2 of these didn't work, so, you got to think of something else. This has been brought because of the ground surveillance radar, I suppose. I prefer having the rocket launcher, but it can be nice to have ground surveillance radar. The alternative, like, this is a really good unit because when this is stood still, it gets very good optics. And it's got 18 AP on it, so that is a nice unit to have in the Sonderwagen. Just switch your AA off, and then you don't need. This should be a 2-vet. Then you don't need 10 Gorillion rolling 3s or whatever. Bring some Flieger Faust, or even these Bofors now at 1-vet are actually not so bad in a defensive position. And then I suppose you've got Gazelle cannons here. You might want a Gazelle Hot 1, just because, like, do you need 8 Gazelle Hot 2s? This is cheaper, and it's if it dies, it's not so bad. Sometimes you won't have enough points for this, but you will for this and that sort of thing. And then the idea behind this div is that you air spam. So if you go back to my copy of the deck, you'll see that I've got the air spam. So yeah, you either want the F104 GAT or the fighters, like another card of the fighters. If you're terrible with your fighters, then you bring this so you've got more fighters. And if you're worried about helicopters, you just chuck 2 of these at a helicopter. If you're good at micro, you bring this one, you buy it in 2s. As soon as the missile launches, you evac it, and maybe you hit the tank, because the tank is the problem, right? And you can also use it to fly in front of the LGBT to soak hits and this sort of thing. So probably bring this one in this case for the reasons I've just described. Yeah, I mean, 5 CVs is on the low side. You might want to swap out 1 card of Pioneer Flam for 3 more CVs or something. Oh, what's in a vehicle? Well, you could bring this one, the Chinook one, right? It's a very popular CV because of the 101st whatever, but this is probably more cost effective and so on. He's got 80. His opponent's playing 6th West German. I do have a guide out for 6th West German. It's like 2 hours long. And the idea behind 6th West German is that you open with a bunch of these Leopard 1s. So you bring them at 2 vet, and you want to play kind of an early game around the Leopard 1 spam. So look, I literally bring 5 cards of them. If you bring fewer, then I guess you down vet it. But the point is to spam out the Leopard 1s and the Marders. Got the Rolands and the Gepards behind, and then you air spam. I prefer it over TKS, honestly, because I like the wheeled Rolands, and having IFVs is always nice if you're a BK, right? Stands for bad kid. So yeah, I recommend watching the video. Obviously, oh, did I tell you my new my game on Steam? It's the next fest, so you can check out my game on Steam. It's got the demo and so on. Having like 8 mortars and stuff like that doesn't really make any sense. So I recommend getting rid of a bit of that. The Huey supply is crap, but like what 4 cards of arty. Like you're just better off bringing the 105s and the 155s. Like if you like dead set on doing this, basically you'd get rid of that one, get rid of this one, and upvet this. But honestly, it's just better to have these for counter battery, this for shooting at people, and then this for mortars for smoke, right, and so on. Then you save 2 AP, and you can drop that on 2, 4, 6. Yeah, like you could get rid of this. That's a 3-pointer. Then you could start 2-vetting your tanks now or whatever. And then you could get an extra CV hit. Like, why wouldn't you buy the 3 per card one? Or why have you gone for the 2 per card one? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, a bit of a weird one that. You can get the whatever. And then the whole point is that these Deckungsgruppe and Vernichtgruppe are cheaper alternatives to the regular Panzer Grenadier. And if you bring 2 of these instead of 2 of these, you save 10 points and they do the same thing. So that's, sort of the idea there. And if you go, like, this is just crap. This is really not that great. Strandmeister are really good now because the SMGs actually do something. I see you've got the Pioneer Flam as well, which is pretty decent now, but I'd be bringing that. You don't really need a Milan 1 because this should be in the Milan vehicle. Marine Zickerungs, I don't know if I'm a big fan of those. I don't bring them personally, just watch the guide. That's my answer to everything now. Let's cast the game. Right, so with that out of the way, this is the second time I'm recording this, but I forgot to hit record, so I guess it's not the second time I'm recording this. The 6th West German is like a better version of TKS, generally, because you get similar levels of air spam, and your tanks are better and your infantry's better because you get IFVs. Your forward deployment's a bit weaker, like you're weaker at the start, but you very rapidly become stronger. So I'd much rather be playing 6th West German in most cases. In this specific case, it is pretty good to be playing TKS because the Jaguar 2 should one-shot all the Leopard 1s, and there's not too much you can do about that. And also the Eyehawk should kill the F-104G high-altitude bombers, which both divisions get, which is why everybody always compares them to each other, because they're the only 2 divs in the game that get it. Thus leading to a fresh wave of complaints about the fact that, I picked a div with bad AA and I'm struggling against the A. What a world, Eugen, please. So, yeah, looking at the deployments, we just got a standard kind of, infantry recon everywhere, backed up by just like a lot of infantry, frankly, and the plan seems to be to fight around here. But he's not actually put too much on this side. It's like 1 tank, 1 ATGM, 1 infantry, no AA. Against the div that's known for its heli cannon opener. So switching to his deployment, we've got a massive forward deployed attack here. He put these on the wrong road for whatever reason. Just wants them to go as slow as possible, I suppose. Like, they're not on a road, so you'd want them on the road, really. And then 3 Kanj PZs, which, yeah, they're cheap, but they're very bad on the offense. Once they get to a place, they're good because they've got mediocre stealth and so on, but on the offense, they kind of suck because they don't have a turret, so they have to turn their whole body to shoot. It's not as bad as you might think, but once the cohesion goes low, it just doesn't really shoot very much. Yeah, forward deployed AA, AMX-10RC, etc. On this side, I spoke in the deck review about how the VLRA Milans are bad compared to the regular ones, because you're trading forward deployment for mediocre instead of good stealth, so I agree with the general principle of trying to attack here, because basically blue gets Charlie and red gets Foxtrot at the start, so that's rough for TKS in this case, because the more mechanized division just stacks up here and just slowly walks forward and takes this zone. Yes, red can get in here at the same time blue does, and then you can sort of delay them there, but having played this map a lot, at this point, whenever I'm on this side as like a less mechanized div, I attack Charlie now. Because, yeah, you can fight here, but they will push you out because it's such an advantageous position for them anyway, because, you know, they can shoot you from the side. And it's a small area, so they'll R to you, and then they'll just move up here with the tanks, and there's not much you can do if all you've got is ATGMs. So you do have to go hard on Charlie, I think. It's just, it is what it is. The map's mostly balanced. It's just if you're playing mech slop, you want to be on the blue side, and guess what's meta, so. Anyway, let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, so it's time for me to thank the generous channel joinerans, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest level's worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. Otherwise, please just like the video, it's free, as you watch this Gazelle cannon slowly kill this Iltis Milan. Yeah, if you're playing against TKS, you have to expect Gazelle cannons at the start, so he should have opened with this. I'll be honest, Dustin did not micro these at all, they just had the attack move orders by default, so it stopped, and then it got a bit closer, and then it stopped, and then it got a bit closer, and it stopped while this thing's just driving away. So if he had sent it a little bit further forwards at the start, then it would have fired before this got right out of the way, right? Because otherwise the attack move order is going to get just in range and then stop. And the helos in this game are very unmaneuverable. This thing's got 40% ECM now. Doesn't make the missiles any better though. And this is 30. This plane's actually better, I think. Depends on ranges. Depends how you use it. If you just fling the Mirage straight at the F-16 without taking advantage of your better range, then obviously, you know, you've just thrown away your advantage. As it stands, yeah, if you gotta use the range advantage, right? But if you turn, then he's probably just gonna shoot you in the back because the planes aren't very maneuverable in this game. So, spoke about this in the deployment. Maybe I had to record that twice because I wasn't recording it the first time, so I had to say it twice, I suppose. Both sides get this plane, and it's a very powerful plane. Pretty sure it used to go a bit faster than it does now, but that's still quite fast. Anyway, TKS gets the Eyehawk, so he can sort that out quite easily by just buying an Eyehawk and putting it there. And he will eventually kill those. 6th West German's going to struggle a bit more because this has less range. It should still be able to shoot it if it drops, you know, near it. Should still be able to shoot it. And it would usually kill it, because it's only got 10% ECM. That plane is a real kind of noob check. There's a lot of people who just don't know how to deal with it, and they just demand that it should be nerfed, because, oh, my Eyehawk all the way back here couldn't kill it. And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to have a fighter up, have the fighter closer to the front lines, etc, etc. So it looks like we're in for the sort of standard Sitzkrieg here. Red took this zone quite easily. He's taking his time with the CV, but he is on a +1. And over here, blue is presumably going to take this, because there isn't really a lot here. So he's bought the Eyehawk, and yeah, you'd want to be reinforcing this section. And yeah, I prefer the Alvaland M3, A3, whatever Milan thing. It's got good stealth, whereas this has mediocre stealth. The only advantage of this is that it's got the airborne forward deployment, and that doesn't matter because you've got AMX-10 RCs and a billion other airborne forward deployed things. and it costs more and you get fewer of them, so it's a waste of time, really. Yeah, he didn't put any AA here. I suppose this sort of counts. So yeah, you would expect Red to lose this pretty fast, because he's just not put anything there. It's just about how fast Blue tries to capitalize on this. I mean, the CV's coming in. He's got a mortar for the smoke, but he's not going to need it. And if you're Red, you really want like a Mirage up or something so that this doesn't keep happening to you. Well, actually, both sides should have a fighter up so that this doesn't happen to you. So you should 2-vet these because you only really need them at the start, and then it might have died there. And now instead you're going to lose your Milan. So, you know, if a drone flies over you, you should start moving your units around because, well, now he knows what to bomb, right? The drone, unless your opponent is like, you know, severely mentally compromised, which on Warno is quite common. The drone is flying over you for a reason. Think about what that reason might be. It's usually so they know what to blow up with artillery or air power. So this guy gets smoke, so he could have smoked there at any point. He did put him out of the building, so he was looking at it. He just didn't want to use the smoke. So yeah, these are pretty effective. As you can see, the Roland can actually hit him from that range. The point is to have the fighter out before the bombers come in, and then leave it up so that when the bombers come in, the fighter's ready. Obviously, yes, you need to have it out of the IHawk range, and so on. He sold the transport, so the enemy could arty that, but he's not bought any arty. So if you're Blue in this case, you basically just want to slowly squeeze Red out. Like, it should be fairly straightforward, because... well, from here, Red can't really get anywhere. I mean, yeah, you can go through all these forests and stuff, but you've taken this, and then you pressure over here. You don't even have to take it, you just pressure it, because it's a +2, they'll put loads of guys there, and then you come for the town. But instead... yeah, he's coming over here, so it's just going to be TKS defends the town for... that's going to be super fun. For Blue to deal with. He does get seed though, so he should, you know, the F-104s plus the seed. Send the seed out first. Show its rear to the enemy for a little bit. The IHawk shoots the seed, the F-104 shoots the IHawk. Right. You've got to play it slow, but, you know, in this kind of matchup, Pasty makes wasty. The TKS player wants you to just dive him and just lose all your guys prematurely. So, like, at least it didn't die, but that was just luck. The IHawk, you know, it had, like, basically a 50% chance of hitting it. And you won the coin toss, great. How many more times is that going to happen? So you got to think, like, where am I strong? Where's the opponent strong? Well, TKS is going to be strong in... oh, you brought the seed. TKS is going to be strong in the town. He's like rank 40 or something, so... that's a 50% ECM seed playing that. And then he uses the F-104. The seed gets hit twice in a row by the IHawk. That's 50% ECM. There's always a gamble, right? He could have prevented it from shooting twice by having his micro slightly tighter, so the F-104 was right behind the seed as opposed to 5 seconds behind the seed. And that's just what you've got to focus on. Sometimes you'll be playing against a guy and his IHawks will just hit every single shot. And then he'll type something like, wow, that was such a fun game. And you've just got to try not to get upset. You'll be playing against a second Panzergrenadier player as like the worst division in the universe, and they'll just barely beat you, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was a fun game, wasn't it?" It was like, "Yeah, bro, I had loads of fun playing against your broken ass div." So you gotta contain your anger. So that was smart, right? He had them. He waited for them to show their rear to the air spot. So just to sort of walk you through, I mean, they've got 40% ECM, but these have super high accuracy. The thing is, it shoots twice and then it reloads, which I think is a really good trait of this vehicle. And there's constantly people trying to change it and make it reload super fast so that it just rattles them all off, thus removing any nuance from the situation at all. Sadly, there are people like that. But back to the point about not getting upset. Yeah, you just got to focus on like what can I do to improve my odds here. At the end of the day, there is RNG in this game because there's only a couple ways to do it. The first one is you make everything have a massive health pool and make everything hit all the time. If I was making this game, that's how I would do it. No RNG apart from like artillery dispersion, I guess. Um, and it's just everything hits, but it's differentiated by aim times, rates of fire, ranges, and so on, right? And things would get one shot less. Like the average thing that would get one shot would now get two shot. If it was getting one shot by a 50% accuracy thing, it would now be a two shot at 100% accuracy. Do you see what I mean? So that's one way of doing it. That's I'd say it's the broken arrow way, but broken arrow also has loads of RNG, and it just matters way more because you have fewer units. Anyway, you see what a terror these things are. Everybody's struggling against these. Him because his Eyehawk died, and his opponent because his Rolands, which are wheeled, that's allowing you to. Sorry for that sound. I realise it appears a lot in my videos. It's just basically I live in one of the poorest parts of one of the poorest cities in the country, and there's just a bunch of yobs that constantly drive past on dirt bikes. Just like 24/7. They've been doing it the whole time I've been doing this channel, so, it shouldn't be new for you, but it's something that I only recently started noticing on the videos. I was like, what is that? Oh, that's what that was. There's nothing I can do about it, right? They put some speed bumps up, but they left big gaps in them for bikes to go through so that people on bikes wouldn't hurt themselves, thus completely negating the whole point of the speed bumps, because then they can still just keep doing the same thing. So that was really smart. Anyway, so yeah, Blue, like, he's sort of doing what we said, right? I mean, he's one of the best players in the game, so you would hope so. He's sort of come up here, right? He's come around here. Honestly, in this kind of game, you should be buying quite a bit of arty, and he's got a crazy amount of arty, because, yeah, you're going to feint over here, and that's not going to work, because you were a bit too slow, right? And so now you're going to end up trying to attack over here into TKS. So yeah, secure the outer buildings. I mean, he's got this, but he hasn't got that. You need the Rolands a lot closer, otherwise you're just going to lose 2 units every 60 seconds here. And this is why people mold about this so much. It really reveals how much of an idiot you are quite rapidly. And there you go, the Eyehawk gets the hit. He's got the CV next to it to up-vet it, that's why it hit, bros. But no, it should usually hit. Sometimes it just misses twice in a row and then you get blown up by an F104G. Thankfully, there's nobody in this game where that happened to me and it was done by that player. Thankfully, there's nobody like that in this game. So, and in that hypothetical situation which didn't happen, imagine if the Eyehawk was already vetted as well because it was a Marine Eyehawk, so it was, and then it fired like twice and it just never hit, and then a bunch more of them fired. And yeah, anyway, so yeah, he's got to move up the Rolands a bit. I mean, he is, and you just always have the fighter up. You don't just evac it when there's nothing there. You keep it on combat air patrol back here, and the bomber comes in, and you dive it. Obviously, you'd be on this side, so you dive it. And it's like, yeah, but I might die. Right? This is... If you kill this, there's only one card. It's a really big deal if you kill this. So the thing with the drones is that they don't get shot... But he's walking into it. They don't get shot by the radar AA. So like these should move now. He's doing it. It's just he sold the transport because the drone should reveal targets for the artillery. The thing is, he's not in the deck review. I was like, he's brought like 4 cards of artillery. This is ridiculous, and he's not even bought any of it. He's bought like 1 mortar. I think there might have been a second one, and it might have died. Or so there's 8 mortars. 175mm. See, you can kill him. Although that was a... So that was worth it for to sacrifice the Mirage to kill the F104G is worth it. And, yeah, like, so he owns all this. So why is this here? It's like a lack of creative thinking, because you're used to fighting here, right? That you own this. You've got somebody there, so put the Roland here, you know, unload this, send something over here so you just know that there's nobody here looking at you. And then maybe you can do something. But people aren't used to playing against TKS because it's been unpopular for so long that they don't know, right? There's a lot of so for me, the most fun part of any game is kind of the dynamic thinking, right? And trying to think quickly, and it's like, oh crap, new situation, what do I do? So games with dynamic maps are really interesting because so like Age of Empires, right? The maps are seeded, but there are differences, and so you don't just learn the maps. In this game, you just learn the maps, you learn the matchups, you learn the divisions. So I prefer that kind of small amount of dynamism, even if it does lead to some unfairness. I mean, back to that point about RNG. So, yeah, these reload every minute if you don't get them hit. At this point, he should have the LGBT one out as well, and then when these fire, he should hit it with the... I mean, he isn't just eventually these are going to die, because the Rolands are close now, so you can deal with it. But you got the CV. It's like, yeah, I get that the drone's annoying, but if you came over here and... Oh, there you go, that was for the... No, you just didn't give it an order, so now it's going to die. Well, it was probably going to die anyway, but the idea, the general kind of principle there would be the fighter goes first, they shoot the fighter, which has 40% ECM, like the fighter just curls around here, they shoot the fighter should survive because it's got 40% ECM. Obviously, there is RNG involved. Then the F-104G kills one, and the LGBT kills the other, and there you go, 2 Rolands down. He's only got 4 because he vets them, which I do as well. If you struggle with AA, then, you know. So, if you're blue in this case, right, he's finally figured it out. Oh yeah, I've got loads of arts here, I should probably... Also, he needs to evac this way, and not this way over the Roland 3. Just an idea, but if you're blue in this case, right, so these, no, you don't want to just drive these in. I appreciate he needs to get the CV in, and so this has to go in front to make sure the CV doesn't immediately die, but generally, like, this shouldn't be shooting at you because you should be out of range. You stack up all the fire support here, like, you know, in these buildings, and this just slightly further back. Typically you stick to tree lines, but it's fine to be somewhere like there. And then that's how you seize the edge of the town, because then you send the infantry forwards, and that should be the Deckungsgruppe and the Vernichtgruppe because they're the most cost-effective. You know, they're slightly more cost-effective than Panzergrenadier. And then you seize the edge of the town. So that's part 1. I do have a guide on the channel called How to Attack. It's like one of the most popular videos I've got. I think it might be the most popular. Don't get side shot by a Milan 1. Hippie top tip. And then you bring in the town fighting infantry, like the Strandmeister and what have you. Although he doesn't bring that. But yeah, he's trying to attack in 2 places at once, which I don't rate. Like, you can do a feint somewhere. Feints are good. But don't do, like, big attacks 2 places at once. I guess this is the feint. But yeah, he's just driving forwards and dying, because it's hard to look at 2 things at once. It's actually impossible. There's no such... Oh, no, he's doing it again. Now there's no justification. You don't just drive these into anti-tank range, you know. It's like, I don't have any infantry, so I have to send the tanks. Have you noticed this? Like, this has just been killing all his guys, and, oh, man. I'll show you his rank, you'll be like, whoa. Yeah, so this is a problem. When you're on this side of the map, and you try and, you know, you click up here, and you click the Y on your keyboard to unload, right? Which neither of these guys are doing. And then you click here, then you it will automatically take this road. It's really annoying. And so the answer to that is to drop everything here. and then it will take the right road, and then periodically you'd look back and drag them in, you know, look back and send them in, look back and send them in. It is more difficult than just sending them here, but the alternative is this guy kills all you guys until he runs out of ammo. So some... No, that's doing that automatically. Neither of these players have noticed this is happening. Because these are all on automatic orders, and this is... unbelievable. Sorry, somebody's trying to conscript me to help them fix their toilet or something. I love family, right? Because I have to. End of conversation. God told me I've got to be nice. Anyway, so he's brought a bunch of mortars, and guess what? They won't be able to shoot at this because they'll be minimum ranged. So that's why they're not doing anything. So yeah, this is a pretty much an unmitigated disaster for Blue. He's completely fucked this up, frankly, because you're fighting against TKS in a town. His infantry's better than yours, right? Honestly, you'd be better off at this point just defending here and going and taking this, because you can use your armor here, and yes, there's going to be somebody up here shooting you, and that's going to be about it. I mean, there's going to be a couple things, but Beat's trying to get in here with no recon, no infantry because it all went the wrong way, and a bunch of mortars that, you know, I suppose that is shooting. So, yeah. What can I say? Like, he needs recon, so these things, he can see them and so on. And, so there you go. I think he's killed all the 104Gs now. But yeah, you can attack here if you want. And, basically you just stack up all the marders, like, here. You basically want the edge of the town in autocannon range, and that's about it, really. It's like 1,500 meters, yeah, about here. Right, and then you just slowly start moving guys in here, and you should have people here as well, so they can't shoot you across. And you just, whenever these, you need recon so that you can see, because like, look, they should be shooting that, they just can't see it. Same with this one, right? If you can see it, then you use the LOS tool. Oh, there's a gap there, and then you just move all the Leopard 1s into that gap, and then they all start shooting it, right? But, and look, he forgot about this problem again, and so now the rest of the reinforcements are going down there as well, and they're going to get killed. So if you're having that problem, you might as well just attack here, especially given that now the drone has revealed to you, oh shit, there's like 10 Guerrillian guys here, how am I ever going to sort that out, etc, 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 right? So then you would go do something else, but instead he's going for the feed strat, where you just feed into the enemy for 40 minutes and hope for the best. Sometimes it works. I was playing against a guy today, and I was like doing a flank attack, and he just kept attacking me in the front over and over and over again, and like, he took my zone because I was sending stuff around the sides, whereas if I'd invested more into that frontal attack and less around the sides, well, like, you know, I would have not lost my zone. I mean, eventually, like, the flank worked out, and then I got my zone back, but it's difficult to make that that judgment call, right? So the Green Berets, yes, you need to get him into this building and then kill him, and there he should go, and then you can throw the smoke down. 2 cards of Green Berets, 0 smoke deployed. Now the real Chad strat is to just send them forward. So, oh my god, he did it. Have you noticed it stopped shooting him in the face? So, it's nice having smoke on units. It's a shame you can't press B twice or something and have it just smoke on the spot rather than... Because the issue is it's quite high micro. You've got to cast it. Like, you press B and then you have to click where you want it to go around you. And that... and then, like, the range is really small. It's that explosives range, because smoke explodes, apparently. So if you cast it, like, there, then it'll start running forwards into the enemy and dying, and it's like, so it is hard to use. So, I mean, he'll understand eventually that this is But, you know, maybe... So you're the more mechanized div, so honestly, the ideal strat would be to not adjust your approach and to just keep attacking here, but this is clearly not working. And all of these guys, like, they're all infantry. So, well, what does that mean? Well, it means if you start attacking here, they can't actually get over there. So then all this just becomes... Because your units can move straight into the side shot from the enemy Milan. And your opponent's units can't move because they're infantry that unloads and then he sells the transport. Right? Obviously some things can move. Or they can move slowly. And so that's your cue to... So, I mean, the guide on 6th West German is actually one of the best guides on the channel. Because you've got to play it in a very unique way. And the way is surrounds the kind of leopard blobs. Basically, you're supposed to be very aggressive in the early game. So LKKK should be on a tick now, basically. But he was too slow. And... yeah, that's bad. So it's a hard div to play well. I'm just really surprised the guy who had 4 cards of artillery is losing the arty duel to the guy who had 3 cards of artillery. It's not that much fewer. That much less. I think that much fewer is probably right. And, you know, when you've got these blobs, you want to put, like, a lux with them so they can actually see something. I appreciate in this case this guy's here, but generally that's... And you want a Roland with it. Like, there's a reason the Rolands and stuff, they're all wheeled, right? And the Gepards, they're tracked. So you can keep up with the Leopards, so you can actually be there to help out. So, 6th West German's all about the mobile blobs. TKS is basically about... It's like a pseudo-airborne division. You get there first, and then you camp. And yes... and then you camp into air spam, basically. And yes, you should still be sending little attacks around the side and stuff, the AMX 10 RCs and what have you. Send a Gazelle hot around the side, snipe the enemy RT, whatever. But generally TKS is I get there first, I sit there, and 6th West German is I get there... You'd get there earlier than, like, you know... You'd have a better early game than 8th US or something, but... Generally, you get there second. Like, you do have airborne forward deployment. You do have 130 kilometers an hour ILTIS things, but you've got no anti-helo defense. Like, your forward deployment on 6th US is a little bit weak. It's actually above average, but it's weaker than TKS's. And so the idea would be you arrive second with a massive blob of leopards and marders, and you just hose everything down and take the zone in the early game. If you were against a heavier div, yeah, you'd be even more aggressive in the early game. And if you're against a lighter div like TKS, yes, you can afford to play late because you have the advantage in the late game. But I get the impression he's not played the div that much because the way he's just playing it like a normal div, and you can't do that and win. Well, okay, I mean, he might still win, but you're not playing to your strengths. The thing with the divisions is like... So in Steel Division 2 there was this phase system. And in the phase system, so you can actually, you would bring a unit in phase A or phase B or phase C, and if you choose to bring it in later phases, you get more of them. Like, look at this. It's classic TKS, that is. What do I buy? I know, I'll just buy the same unit over and over and over again. So you'd think, oh, I'm being attacked here. You can just bring these round, you know. They're still in their transports. You don't have to commit to putting all the units here where they are not needed. But alas, I don't think he knows. So, yeah, TKS is about getting there first and sitting there. Both divs actually get Kanch PZ, but this is like a very typical TKS unit where, because of the mediocre stealth and the high fire rate, yeah, once you take a point, you put this in and look at how fast it's firing. I've not sped this up. I enjoy watching conga lines slowly go to places where they're not needed and not unload, while the flank collapses in real time. Wouldn't speed that up for the world. So, generally you want to get out of the habit of just buying the same unit over and over and over and over again, right? You want some combined arms in there, bit of recon, bit of AA, maybe a couple different types of tank, although, yeah. You know, maybe a helo, like a ATGM helo here, would be able to stop these, and then he obviously would bring the Roland up. But yeah, he's got like I mean, I'm trying to think happy thoughts, but like, what is this? You're being attacked. Don't you want to use these units? Goes back to the earlier point I was making about how this can move around and this can't. But the point is that these are still in the transports, so they can move around. You don't have to do this. Well, it is what it is. Um, so yeah, if you ever find yourself stuck in an attack somewhere else, because this is the most common outcome. This guy's in the top 100 out of 400,000 copies sold, right? So he's in like the top 0.0025% or something like that. But it looks like he's just going to conga line down here, actually, so at least there was a plan. So yeah, you see that the Gazelle Hots are actually doing quite a lot of work. They would one-shot these, so I got 8 armor. You do, obviously, if you're getting shot at, you should pull it back. But he's too busy sending a bunch of full transports past this guy with AT, who, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to be able to look this far. What? He's actually in the smoke. So what you would do in that case, right, is unload the first couple, and then send the empties. Or even just something like this, because if this gets hit, you lose the unit inside, right? So you don't want that like that, right? Like that. But, I mean, it is glorious to behold, I suppose. There are more efficient ways of attacking. Like now this, well, he's got multiple CVs. Like, you know, you would try and stop and deal with this, for example, right? You wouldn't just drive past him with your 5% accuracy and just sort of hope. Obviously, there's a speed component, right? The longer it takes, etc., etc. But yeah, this was a +2, so losing this is more important than losing this. The thing is, I'm pretty sure he's going to get to Delta. Oh, there you go. That's the perfect thing for this, but he's dropping in. It drops in a line, right? So you want to come over here and then drop it on the roadway. He just gave up. He could have had so many kills. Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. I didn't really expect that. Although he has done it before, actually, on this channel. Went a bit worse last time. So, yeah, DustinEchoes rank 112, and L Ku Klux Klan rank 44. So, like, even, like, if you just watch me play, I make so many mistakes, right? So there's always mistakes, there's always things that can be fixed, and that's the joy of the game, that's why I play it. If I was perfect at the game, it'd be boring as fuck, right? Shouldn't swear, right? That's an imperfection right there. So yeah, you did. TKS did a good job with the, you know, killing the mortars. If your enemy's just going to start shooting a bunch of smoke and stuff at you, yes, you should counter battery him. I know it sounds obvious, but the amount of people who just don't do that is ridiculous. And the iHawks eventually sorted out the F-104Gs, whereas Dustin's lasted longer, right? Like, he got two CVs out of that. This is the guy who was just in the forest and everybody just drove past him and he just shot them all until he ran out of ammo. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 units killed in their transports. So 8 units. So, you know, do pay attention, right? Don't play like listening to music or something because you'll miss things. Because it gives you a sound. You can hear people screaming, and as you play the game more, you can recognize the sound of the screaming, and that will let you know what units died. I'm not making that up.